60 landscapes. That's right, there are going to be 60 landscapes in this video that I have created over the past 2 months with an average of 1 landscape per day, and rendering them was a bigger pain than actually creating them. They are taken directly from Gaea viewport, a 2K, and some of them are at 4K resolution. So let's get started with the first one. Very simple, a rocky terrain with a river, and the river is created with the fault node. Fault now has a big brother called Canyon, and here comes the second one which has some of the desert mesas, and again the fault which is creating the river. Next is a simple volcanic island. There is more water than the landscape, but okay. The volcano is created from the crater node. And next we have a really beautiful snow landscape which has some of the amazing details in the rocks. This was when I was obsessing over the snowfall node. And then again snow landscape. Here we have a slope noise with a mountain in between and some of the folding and snow all over. Moving on to the next, we have mesa structures in plains, where I tried to create procedural roads with the river node, but it didn't turn out well, as you can see. I tried to create Horseshoe Lake, which is in Arizona, I believe. You can Google it. It doesn't look much different from that. And next we have a glacier, really nice ice around the coast, and just FYI, there will be a separate glacier node coming in next versions of Gaea. And next, the igneous rock formations. This one was created when the river node first came out. Again, there was an attempt to create some canyon from the igneous rocks. And then we have a lush landscape with a mountain and the lake on the bottom. I really like this shape the lake is creating in there. And this one is not much different from the first one, except there are some stacks and fractal terraces. My. And then the beautiful green rocky terrain. I actually have a tutorial on this one, which was the first tutorial on this channel. And then there is this beautiful coast, and there was an attempt to create some vegetation which turned out really well, but the anti-aliasing is killing all of the details in here. Let's move to the next one. This one was actually really good. It's combining purlin with the slope noise and creating these sandstones and using thermal for the soil. Moving on. And next we have a snow covered mountain range. This one was created with a custom mask, and then there is potential for a beautiful village in the middle. And then we have a beautiful snow-filled island. The borders are created from the island node, and the base shape is from a range. And then we have some rock structures and the crack floor at the bottom. This one is created from the slope noise and purlin. Next we have our introduction terrain that we used in the Gaea beginner tutorial series. And if you pause the video right here, you'll see that your eyes are spinning. You're welcome. Next we have some of the beautiful folded rock structures. We have our wasteland. This one has some of the best rock shapes around the lake. And then we have this landscape where I tried to add some rock structures along the river, which turned out quite well, but you can't actually see it from this angle. And then I took a random skull image from Google and created this. Since we didn't have a height map for the skull, there was a lot of processing involved correcting that skull. Then we have our pearlet and some scattered rocks. The base shape for this one is created with not more than 6 nodes. And then another rocky mountain range. Some of the shapes here are created with the crater node. And then we have an extinct volcano landscape. The shapes are created from crater and the dune node. I hate that node. My CPU doesn't agree with the amount of processing it needs. And next we have quite an unusual landscape. These rock structures were inspired from Jotunheim in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I didn't agree with some of the shapes, so I ended up with this version. Next we have a collapse. This is again created from Fault's big brother Canyon, and it's a good arena for death matches. Then we have a landscape inspired from Scotland. The anti-aliasing is again killing some of the details, but it has some amazing rocks around the shore. And then a old river that I ended up with while testing the wizard erosion. There is excessive erosion here. Next we have one of my favorite landscapes. This was the first landscape that I tried out in Unreal and it turned out quite nice. Many nodes were sacrificed in its creation, but that's beside the point. We have an alien landscape. I really like the black and white going on around here. All in all, it looks quite nice. And then we have this cliff around here. I really like the details that this cliff has. And then this beautiful green mountain range. This is before the thermal shaper came around. It would have been so much easier with it. And it transforms into this, which is a rocky landscape with some of the rocks scattered around the coastal area. This is more a lake than a sea. And here we have a beautiful mountain in the middle and some of the ridges which end up in the lakes. And then we have some snow remnants in this crater landscape and lake. I actually did a breakdown on this one, so click the card if you're interested in seeing this one. Then we have a desert landscape with stacks. This one reminds me of some of the areas in Red Dead Redemption 2, but better, because Rockstar didn't use a dedicated 3D terrain software, but I did. Coming on to our next one, a beautiful rocky coast. Again we have that black and white color scheme going on around here. Then we have an island. It's pink, it's green, it's beautiful. And it's created with the island node. Then I went too far with the rocky look and ended up with this terrain, which has some folded rocks here and there. Probably not a good idea to hike around here. And this is one of the best looking terrain that I have created so far. And it's also one of my favorites. The base shape is simple, created with a mountain. And I actually created a tutorial on this one. If you're interested, click on the card above. Then there is sci-fi top-down shooter arena type landscape that I ended up while experimenting with Volcano. Next we have Millennium Falcon Island. This one's created right around the time when the thermal shaper node came in. I was so excited for that node. I still am. Then more experiment with Perlin and thermal shaper and I ended up with these amazing flow erosion structures. And then more experimentation with the thermal shaper and I ended up with this mountain range with some of the best snowfall I have seen. Well, I have not seen snow, so virtual is all we can do for now. Next we have some sea flows, or as I like to call it, seascape. I tried to create some coral reefs right here. Obviously it didn't end well, but I like the shape, so I used it in another landscape, which is this one. It has more flowing rocks and less swag than the last one, so I increased the size of those star-shaped structures. Ooh, lava. What's more impressive than lava here are the fluffy looking rocks, and the lava is created with snowfall. Coming to this amazing looking canyon. The base shape for the canyon is created with Voronoi Plus node, and then there is a lot of fractal terracing and some of the breakup in the rocks, so that it looks even better. And again an alien world, looks more like an arena. A canyon is placed in the middle to give it that arena look. Next we have these amazingly warped rock structures. It may not look that great from this angle, but trust me, it looks really good when you look from the first person view. And I'm not a big fan of this one. There's just too many rocks. Just a basic purlin with some fractal noise, and I bombed it with those rocks. And then we come to this landscape, which is highly eroded, so to cover some of that I used some snow which is flowing down to the lake. And again a landscape with its base shape derived from Voronoi. We are actually using Voronoi Plus for the base shape, and to create those amazing rocks we used anastomosis. Oh, I like this one. Here there are two slope nodes meshed together, and then there is stacks, hopefully. And we get some nice flow structures. Look, it's a turtle with a tumor. It's created with the island node. I didn't make it an actual turtle shape because I quite liked the coast that it was creating. And then we have nicely warped flows. I was supposed to make some lava with these flows, but my memory and as sharp as it used to be in younger days, which I'm still young, so I'll get around to it. And then this canyon is made from the canyon node using the collapse method. And then, ooh, I love these flows. Maybe we need to fill some of them for gameplay purposes, but the aliens are happy. Maybe I should create a tutorial on this one. Let me know if you love one. And then finally we have this canyon using the previous methods, the Voronoi Plus for its base shape and then Perlin to add some ups and downs. And this is the second best looking canyon in this video. And this marks 60 landscapes. Let me know if you want to see a breakdown for any of the terrains. We'll do a breakdown video for the terrain and then we'll move over to the open world landscape tutorial series with Unreal Engine. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching the video and I hope you love these landscapes as much as I do. So it's bye bye for now. See ya.